Welcome to the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. This is your go-to resource for personal growth, mastering communication, and influencing and persuasion techniques that will help you unleash the full potential of yourself and others. Here is your host, Alex Morgan.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. My name is Alex Morgan and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. And after last episode where we were talking about 2024 is the year to deserve it all and more, I had some requests to talk about something a bit different. People were thinking, well, yes, I can deserve it all and more, but I'm far away from that at this time. So today I'm going to talk about some different things that you can do and how you can maybe see your reality if it feels like things are kind of crumbling outside of you. Because we all go through something at some point. I'm going through some things right now in my personal life as well. So I'm using some of these strategies myself, and these are things I also use with clients. So I'm sharing them with you because guess what? They work. So the first thing that we need to do is you need to understand that when things aren't going exactly as you want them to go, chances are it's because you manifested this in some way. So you had some thought, you had some belief. That's why it feels maybe that person is doing something to you, or you're feeling that way because of the situation. So the first thing you need to do is take responsibility for everything that's happened. Everything that's going on in your life is because of you. So your failed relationship, or let's say your business isn't going as you think it should, or you'd like to improve the relationship with your family or your friends. Well, the reason the relationships in your business are going as they're going right now is because of you, because of your thoughts, because of your actions, because of your beliefs. So the first thing, no more excuses. No more giving yourself reasons why you can't have what you want. So you need to take responsibility. And when you take responsibility, then you're taking your personal power back. That personal power is yours. You'll feel empowered. You don't need to blame anyone for any of these things. They happened. Yes, they hurt. It feels like the world's crumbling. That's fine. However, right now, take responsibility for everything that happened. If you truly want to change how you feel and change the reality that you're in, then you need to do the first thing. Take responsibility. And that is how you'll start to feel good. And keep playing this game. Anytime you find yourself blaming or thinking someone else did something or someone else makes you feel a certain way. No one can make us feel a certain way. Maybe for a second. However, once we realize that we're the ones creating all of this, we take responsibility and we can choose how we feel. So take responsibility. That's the first thing that you really need to do. That's the first thing that you can really control, because if the world is crumbling around you, if you take responsibility, things will be much better. Now, there's a couple other things. It's almost like controlling the controllables. There's a lot of things in this world that we can't control. We can't control what other people do. We can't control outside circumstances. However, what we can do is we can really control how we feel about those circumstances. So you can also do other things that you can control. You can control your attitude. So obviously there's going to be some feelings with your attitude. I'm sure you've been around plenty of people in your life who have a bad attitude about things. So if you think your circumstances are being caused by other things, you're pointing the finger. You're not taking responsibility. And then your attitude just isn't what it needs to be. So if you can change your attitude, that's something that you can control. You can control your attitude in any situation. And you can also control your effort. So how much effort are you actually going to put into changing your circumstances, changing your life? Are you willing to put in time? Are you willing to put in money? Are you willing to put in energy? Whatever you think you can afford to put in right now. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about all three: time, money, energy. Whatever you can afford, are you willing to take those steps to actually change and control what you can control? Because if you can control your effort, that means you're actually going to be doing things every single day to get better. And I haven't released the episode yet. However, I interviewed a really good guest last night, and they were talking about this specific thing, that you need to be consistent and taking action every single day. And that essentially will get you what you want. If you're not taking action and you're just thinking about it, eventually you need to do something to move closer to what you want. A feeling is not enough. You also need to take action. So really control your effort and your attitude. If you control your effort and your attitude, controlling those things will then become a habit. And the unconscious mind, it loves repetition. The more repetitions you do, it becomes a habit. So your unconscious mind will get used to feeling good with a good attitude. It will get used to controlling your effort. And it won't seem like effort so much anymore. Because I share in so many episodes, when you put the effort in your mind, that is how you can create change automatically and naturally, easily and effortlessly. So if you feel like the world is just crumbling around you, you're not helpless. You can control certain things. I'm not saying everything is going to change overnight. Take it day by day and control how you feel. Control your effort and really control your attitude. And people will start to see this. They'll start to notice it. They'll see that you're healing. And then they'll be curious what you're doing. And that'll bring a whole new level of possibilities and opportunities to you. Because every time something bad happens to us, there's plenty of good things that can come out of it. So for example, I went bankrupt. I share my personal story in the first episode of this podcast. So if you want to hear more about it, go there. I went bankrupt. However, this gave me an opportunity to kind of bottom out a bit. It gave me an opportunity to process all these emotions that I was holding in myself all these years. I was anxious. I was scared. I doubted myself. I was worried what was going to happen next. However, when I went bankrupt, it allowed me to, what did I do? I took small steps to get past that every single day. And then I started investing in myself. I put time, I put money, I put energy into getting better. Now at the start, of course, I didn't have lots of money, so I just started reading books. And a couple of books that I read at that time were The Untethered Soul, and this really changed how I thought, as well as The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. So reading these books, I always feel like books come into your life for a specific reason at a specific time, and these changed how I thought. And this showed me that I can control much more. I can control my effort. I can control my attitude. I can think different things and create different results. I don't need to be afraid of how much money I'm going to have anymore. I don't need to be afraid of people doing bad things to me anymore. I created this, so I took responsibility, and I chose to control new things so that I could create new results. So there's plenty of other things that you can also work on and change if you feel like the world is crumbling around you. One of the things that I think is really important is you need to discover what is most important to you. So this is essentially a value. So values, what values are, is they're how we know right from wrong, good or bad, if what we're doing is appropriate or inappropriate. Values are what motivates us. In values, we're going to put time, money, and energy to achieve our values. So instead of thinking, just think of this, it's pretty amazing. So instead of thinking, hey, the world's crumbling around me, think of what's important to you about that situation or your personal development or your family or your business. And once you're aligned with those values, and oftentimes values are unconscious. So if we ask ourselves that question, what's important to us about our career? Let's say we want to improve our career. Those answers that you get, you can write them down and then put them in order of what you think would be most important for you. And then these are things that are really going to motivate you. So if you can focus on your values, This means you're going to be motivated. So you can focus on being motivated towards something instead of actually thinking that the world is crumbling around you. When I first did my first exercise and values, it was when I took the NLP Master Practitioner training, and I elicited values in my career, in my business. So I thought when I did this, it had a really profound effect on me. Values are really, really powerful because a lot of things are unconscious. So you may think there's things that you want. You may think that you know what motivates you and why you're really doing something. However, when you dig deeper, and don't just rush through this exercise, spend time, 20, 30 minutes, seeing what all your values are. When you do this, so many unconscious things are going to come up and you're going to be like, wow, I never thought that that was so important to me. And now I realize how important this really is for me. So if you know your values, this can also install a new strategy of just being endlessly motivated. You won't think that the world is crumbling around you anymore. You won't. You'll think that you can actually achieve these values. And the great thing about values is once you start to achieve different things, your values are going to change. So things are only going to get better. So that's another thing that you can change if you think the world's crumbling around you. And if you want help with this, go ahead and reach out to me at alex@athensnlp.com or contact me through how you can contact me in the description of this episode, whatever your preferred method is, Instagram, email, Facebook, something else like that. Shoot me a message, shoot me an email. We can talk about your values. We can really align yourself, your unconscious mind, with what truly motivates you. Another thing that you can easily change if you feel like the world is crumbling around you is beliefs. And that's a wonderful thing is if you think of a value, so you have a value, let's say of freedom, around that value is going to be different beliefs. So it's going to be like a little value in the middle and a cluster of beliefs around it. So as your values, as you're being more motivated towards your values, guess what? You can also change your beliefs. They have this sort of connection. So you need to have beliefs that, this goes into the last episode I did, that you deserve it all and more, that you are good enough, that you are worth it, that you are deserving, that you matter, that you can make money, you can have successful relationships. So if the world is crumbling around you and you feel like you're a bit stuck, you need to also think, what are you actually believing? What is causing this? There's some belief that you have that is causing this situation. So if you change your beliefs, this has happened many times. Let's take my bankruptcy for an example. I obviously thought that I couldn't make enough money or that I wasn't worth it. And then this caused me to actually lose many of the things that I had. Or let's say you have a failed relationship. Maybe you think you're not good enough. Chances are when that relationship fails, that's what you're going to think, that you're not good enough. So if the world is crumbling around you, this is temporary. You can change your beliefs. You are good enough. You're more than good enough. And once you change those beliefs, your reality around you, you're going to feel much more safe and secure and free. You're going to have confidence to really do things again. And that's what's amazing about changing beliefs. So there's another thing. There's a way that we communicate. We communicate with ourselves. So let's say there's an outside event. We filter it through our 5 senses, and then we filter it through different things. So things such as our values, our beliefs, our attitudes, our memories. So all that information, all those programs we have in our mind, it's going to filter these events. So now that when events happen in the future, imagine if you had new values, new beliefs, a new attitude. You would be filtering that information with the programs inside of your mind so much differently. And that's going to lead to you holding and carrying yourself in a certain way. That's going to now lead to a new feeling. And both of those together, the way you carry yourself and that good feeling, after you change your values, beliefs, and attitudes, that's going to lead to new behaviors. So you're not going to think that the world is crumbling around you. So once you change those things, you're filtering your reality totally different. So the pictures you have in your mind are going to be totally different because they're going to have a different feeling. And this is going to change your reality. The great thing about hypnosis and NLP is we have different interventions that can change these things very quickly. We can change your beliefs, your values, your attitudes. We could change that picture in your mind easily and effortlessly. So things become automatic and natural for you, things that you actually want to achieve. And then we can also change your state and how you carry yourself. So we have interventions to change all of these things. So it's actually simple and easy. You just follow a particular process, and next thing you know, you'll have new behaviors. Yes, it takes some work. However, the world around you, if it feels like you're crumbling, it's crumbling. Guess what? You don't actually have control. You don't have your personal power. You've given that to the circumstance or the outside event or to another person. So now it's time to take responsibility, change these things. And I gotta say it again, if you put the effort into your mind, your results will be completely different. And the difference in your results, this will become automatic for you. This will be your new baseline. It will only be up from here if you continue to work on yourself. In another past episode, when I interviewed Justin Copet, he said, a lot of people, they look at inner work and they think it's very difficult. However, it's much easier than you think. And that's why we have so many great methods with hypnosis and NLP. And that's why I also study these things for many years, because I truly believe they work. They've worked for me, and I'm continuing to use them when I feel like the world is crumbling around me. So I hope that you would like to use them too. That's totally up to you, what you want to do. Just keep in mind that if things are happening to you, you need to change your thinking. Take responsibility first, and then change those other things in your mind that I talked about. All the things that are happening, it's not necessarily your fault. However, your beliefs, your values, your attitude, your lack of responsibility, all of this is how it manifested. This is how it's happening right now. You actually created this situation. Whether you think that or not, I know it might be a harsh reality. However, once you're aware of that, doesn't that at least feel kind of freeing? Once you're aware of that, you're like, wow, yes, I did create this. I did mess up. I did do this. You don't have to be hard on yourself. Just take responsibility and take those next steps. So thanks so much for listening. I hope this was an insightful message for you. Wherever you are listening, go ahead and leave a 5-star review and some feedback so this can really enter the minds of many other people. This podcast, I love sharing this information. So if you like it, go ahead and share it with your friends or family or anyone that you think can really benefit from it. Thanks again for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.